that she had. So her, Kelsey, and Aaliyah Boston, they had something special the second half of the season. And I just look at them as a young, hungry team. Our veteran president with Joanna Barner, Natasha, and me coming from winning programs who have been around the league for a long time and can help infuse something in that team that can take them far in the playoffs, bruh.
Sydney Colson has finally revealed why she left the Aces for the Indiana Fever. And no, it wasn't for the cornfields. Was it Caitlin Clark's deadly three-pointers? A personal mission to bring comedy to the Midwest? Or maybe just the ultimate prank? One thing certain, Colson never makes a move without a punchline.
So, Sydney Colson is obviously a player for the Indiana Fever. Someone signed to be Caitlin Clark's backup. And she is I think she's going to be a solid player. Genuinely. Going to be a solid player. I don't think
Sydney Colson finally spilled the tea on her move to the Indiana Fever. And let's just say she didn't hold back. No, this wasn't some boring cookie cutter. I'm excited for a new opportunity type of explanation. Nope. Colson came through with the energy of someone who had been waiting for this moment, ready to break it all down like an overenthusiastic sports analyst with a comedy degree. And the biggest takeaway, the Fever's glow up is about to be terrifying.
Championship experience is a whole new thing. And then coming off the bench, backing up Caitlin Clark, helping her with little things, just the knowledge that she's going to be able to give Caitlin Clark is going to be absolutely fantastic. But why did she leave the Aces? Well, if you see some of these stats and some of this information I'm going to put out, you can be like, you're going to understand why it was time for her to go.
Caitlin Clark is going to be incredible, no doubt about it. But why did Sydney Colson leave the Aces? Well, once you see some of these stats and details, it'll all make sense. It was simply time to go. If you blinked last season, you might have missed the Fever's dramatic transformation. They started off looking like they were just happy to be there, tripping over themselves, making mistakes, and struggling on defense. But somewhere along the way, they flipped the switch. By the second half of the season, they were a completely different team. They went from, oh, that's cute, to wait, are they actually good? And Colson took notice.
It was only a matter of time before Sydney Colson got to rubbing her hands together like Birdman to tell it all, dog. And that's exactly what she did in a recent interview. Now, we know Sydney Colson came over to the Fever from the Las Vegas Aces. Now,
according to Colson, that turnaround wasn't a fluke. It was a warning. The Fever figured things out late last season, and now, with Caitlin Clark in the mix, yeah, Colson didn't hold back. This team is about to be scary. Like, hide your favorite team's playoff hopes scary. Like, we're keeping receipts scary. And Colson? She wanted in on the chaos.
In the reveal, I am very excited for this new opportunity with Indiana. I know several players and coaches from the Fever, and I trust what I know about them, Colson said. I'm excited to be a part of the vision that the staff has for this team, and I'm ready to get to work.
Of course, Colson didn't stop there. She made it clear that while all eyes are on Caitlin Clark, this isn't a one-woman show. The Fever already had some serious talent with Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, and Alyssa Smith. And now, they've added even more firepower. People don't realize, she said, with the confidence of someone who's already seen the future. So, what makes this team different? For starters, they're done playing nice. The Fever spent too many seasons being the team that opponents circled as a should-win game. That's over. This squad is stepping into the season like a villain origin story, smiling but with a clear message. You should have taken us seriously when you had the chance. And Colson? She's ready to be part of that shift. The same humor and charisma that made her a fan favorite also make her the perfect fit for a team with something to prove. She's going to talk, she's going to stir the pot, and most importantly, she's going to back it up.
She said it's a much easier transition now they have a year under belts together, which would be scary. I'll be interested to be up close and personal with Caitlin and see what it's like day to day. And yeah, like that's the thing where it's like this team goes where Caitlin goes. Like I think everyone kind of knows that, where it's like even last year with the team, when Caitlin didn't play well, they only beat the dream.
So yeah, Sydney Colson didn't just join the Fever. She signed up for the chaos. She's all in on this underdog story, which is about to become a nightmare for the rest of the league. And if you're not paying attention yet, don't worry, you'll be soon enough. Just when you thought Coulson was done talking, she turned it up even more. Because if there's one thing she's going to do, besides getting buckets and roasting people on social media, it's speak her mind. And this time, she had a lot to say about Caitlin Clark, the Fever's veteran moves, and how this team is setting Clark up to go from rookie sensation to a full-blown problem for the entire league.
For a ring, bro. It was just an exciting opportunity. My time with the Aces was wonderful, and we created history in a lot of ways. And they'll always be my Aces family, and I'll miss those fans and everything. But I felt God was leading me in another direction, and sometimes stuff can feel uncomfortable, but you not necessarily feeling like you're ready to take a step back. But I think that's usually when you need to. So that was what I needed to do. Now that was Sydney Coulson, man.
Let's be real. Caitlin Clark is stepping into the WNBA with huge expectations, nonstop debates, and the weight of an entire fan base on her shoulders. But according to Sydney Coulson, she's not letting the pressure get to her. In fact, Coulson made it clear that Clark isn't alone in figuring things out. Because let's be honest, the WNBA is not college. The defense is tougher. The physicality is next level, and no one is just going to let Clark roll in and drop 30 points a night just because the internet is obsessed with her. Coulson knows that. And she made sure to point out that having experienced players around Clark is the best thing that could have happened. And those veterans? Their impact goes way beyond just mentoring Clark. They're changing the entire culture. Last season, the Fever showed flashes of being dangerous, but they were still figuring out how to win. This season, they've got leaders who know what it takes, and they're not about to let this young squad settle for just being better than last year.
Get Sid! Ah! They went up and snatched Sid Coulson from the Aces. She is 100% vibes. She is 100% going to be a backup for Caitlin. It's going to be fantastic. Backup for Kelsey. She is a great addition to this backcourt. She has senior leadership. She has championship experience. She is the most fun ever.
Listen, Caitlin Clark is going to be great, but the best part? She's going to be even better because of the team around her. And yes, that includes Sydney Coulson, because if there's one thing Coulson won't do, it's downplay her own greatness. Now, she gets to be part of a Fever squad that's stacking up talent, building confidence, and, if Coulson's words mean anything, getting ready to make a whole lot of noise in the WNBA. And if you thought Aces fans were just going to sit back and accept this quietly, you don't know Vegas. The moment news broke that Coulson was signing with the Fever, Aces Twitter, or whatever we call it now, went into meltdown mode. Words like betrayal and traitor were being thrown around, as if she snuck out in the middle of the night with the playbook in her bag. And it didn't help that the Fever weren't just picking up Coulson. They were out here collecting players like they had an unlimited budget in a video game. Every time you refreshed your feed, another signing, another weapon. And Aces fans? They were not handling it well. The panic level shot through the roof when they realized this wasn't just some casual rebuild. This was a full-blown takeover mission.
Hopefully y'all remember how fantastic Sydney Coulson was in the 2023 WNBA Finals. That's what Sydney Coulson can offer. Yes, Sydney Coulson did not play a lot of minutes with the Aces, but she could have. The thing that I love about Sydney Coulson is that she's all fun and games. She's all silly. She's all enjoying her time. She's a boatload of fun. That is the life of the party right there. But when it comes to playing, when it comes to locking in and getting all set for the game, Sydney Coulson's all business. Yeah, she could be silly and whatnot, but when she step on that court, she's business, right? Inside those lines, she is all about her goal, which her goal is to play some really good defense and take care of the ball. And that's what she does. And that's exactly why the Indiana Fever has signed Sydney Coulson. Because yes, she is a great locker room fit, but also when you talk about someone who can play defense, that's something that the Indiana...
Then there was Aya Wilson, who, bless her heart, tried to hold it together. But let's be real. When your locker room ends the season with less chemistry than a reality TV cast, something has to change. And Wilson? She didn't sugarcoat it. Look, we didn't play our best, she admitted. But that wasn't even the wild part. What really set things off? When she basically called out the locker room itself. Oh, you could practically hear the gasps. we had some things going on. And with Coulson leaving right after, yeah, fans started connecting the dots, and the result? Drama. So, was Coulson the problem? Or did she see the chaos coming and make the smartest escape move since LeBron took his talents to South Beach? The streets have theories. Some say the Aces were already falling apart, and Coulson just got out at the perfect time. Others believe her departure caused the rift, like she was the glue holding the team together, and they didn't even realize how much they needed her until she was gone. Either way, the Aces were spiraling. Vegas fans? Demanding answers. Fever fans? Sipping their tea, watching the chaos unfold. And Sydney? Over in Indiana, chilling, probably getting up shots and laughing at the timeline. Because one thing about Sydney Coulson, she's always going to land on her feet.
The Fever better get a ring with this because Sydney Coulson is a two-time WNBA champion, a true vet, an amazing backup point guard. And anytime that CC or any of the guards need to go to the bench, I mean, Sydney Coulson always makes the right call, always makes the right decision. So to pick up a...
And as for the Aces, yeah, they still have Aya Wilson. They still have talent. And they still have rings. But that whole unbreakable super team aura, it took a hit. And if the Fever come out looking even scarier next season, Aces fans might have to accept that their dynasty window isn't as wide open as they thought. One thing's for sure, this move didn't just shake the league, it shook the Aces. And whether they admit it or not, Sydney Coulson's impact didn't end the day she left. Because Stephanie White wasn't playing around this offseason. She saw the Fever's potential and went full master strategist mode. If last season was about proving they weren't a joke, this season is about making sure nobody's ever laughing at them again. And the signings? Oh, she didn't just build a solid team, she built a stacked one.
Wasn't a championship locker room, Wilson said. I mean, out of the gate, going into training camp, I was like, we ain't got it. Wow. Okay. That's crazy. I always told myself, we're going to get it. We're going to check each box, but we didn't. Oh, man. Unbelievable.
One of the biggest power moves? Bringing in DeWanna Bonner. She's not just a walking bucket. She's got the veteran presence every young star needs. And here's the kicker. She's already played under Stephanie White before. She knows the system. She knows what it takes to win. And most importantly, she knows how to elevate the players around her. And Bonner? She's all in. She straight up said she's here to help Caitlin Clark. And get this, she expects Caitlin to help her too. That's the energy you want in a locker room. No egos. Just a mission. Stephanie White just made sure this team is locked, loaded, and ready for war. And if the rest of the league isn't nervous yet, they're about to be.
What do you mean Sydney Coulson is joining the Indiana Fever? What does that mean? Indiana is just being so fucking greedy right now. They took DB. They took Natasha. Now they got Sydney Coulson. Like, why would they take Sydney from us?
It's crazy to see these signings not just roll in, but fully hype up the Fever and Caitlin Clark like they just joined a dynasty in the making. Indiana is starting to feel like that team. The one nobody saw coming until it was too late. And the best part? Clark isn't just getting thrown into the fire and told to figure it out. She's got legit veterans around her, players who have won, players who get it. That's how you set up a young superstar for success. If you enjoyed this, like and subscribe. More videos are on screen now.